Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. I have been working on the furniture factory slash sawmill, I guess. Doing a little bit on there, so I'm excited to kind of show you all what has happened, and you can get kind of a little bit of a view here right from the start, but I think a really nice view of it is right here. So you can see I added quite a bit of detail to it, at least to the actual functionality of the sawmill slash furniture factory. So I'm going. You know what? I'll just run you all through what happens. So to start, well, I don't have anything going on out here, but eventually, like I said in the last episode, this river will continue way out there, and I'll have a bunch of wheat fields, and then I'll have like an actual like logging company set out there getting logs. But we're just gonna pretend that that's there and that they are sending logs down this river. So you can see there's a bunch of different types of logs here, and they are all going over here to where they're being picked up by this crane system. And this crane system is operated on this other side right here, so they just sit here and wait for these logs to come through and bring these chains down to pick them up. And so this one is getting ready to pick up this birch log, so this chain right here. And then this chain actually has a dark oak log that it picked up. And so there's like these two like little things run across here, so these beams, and they've got a chain attached to them, and they reach down and pick it up, and then they can slide across these like rail systems up here and deliver it. And what they do is they pick them up and they deliver it over to these train tracks. So they'll set the logs on these train tracks, and they operate kind of like a little bit of like a pulley system or like a roller system where you can push the logs along a lot more easily than what it would just be like rolling a log. So that's what this is right here. And once it gets here, it can go 1 to 2 places. So you can continue rolling it all the way up into the actual factory, or it can go and be pushed along this way. So the reason why it's set up like this, where it has 2, is because these logs will be horizontal. And so one will be on each end of the log. But then right here, since the log is horizontal, if you want it to go this way, you're going to have to push it vertically. So where it lines up like this. And so you can push it vertically, and it'll go to this crane, and this crane right here will actually take it and put it in this stack of logs to use at like a future date, which I think is really cool. And then also I have a big fireplace here that kind of operates the whole factory, and you can push the logs into there to actually fuel it. So that's kind of the beginning stages. That's the first stage, getting these logs and stuff off the river. And this is what will be turned into, I guess, the furniture at some point, which we'll get to that here in a second. But the next step, so once these logs are loaded up onto here, they go into this up onto the actual machinery, and this like right here, this like spinning wheel takes the logs and turns them from horizontal to vertical. So now they'll fit through here vertically. And once it goes through here, it goes to this mechanism, and this strips the outside of the lumber. So you can see this is what it looks like as stripped lumber out here. And once it goes from there, then it goes to this thing that cuts it. And this thing cuts it into 2 segments. You'll have a log segment where it cuts it into smaller logs, and then like a stick or a branch segment that takes it off this way, which I've not done the branch segment just yet, but the log segment I have done. And so we continue on through here, and you actually have to go underground to get to it. So we'll go underground here, underneath, and you go into the log segment where there's another turn mechanism, and it switches between these 2 ways. So if it goes this way, it'll come through here, and it'll be pressed into a double wide couch, which is pretty cool. And so that's what this is. This is the pressing mechanism right here. And then it's dropped off right here, and you can see some of the double wide couches. And then over here, this presses it into like a single wide for like a chair. And it is put over here. So another pressing mechanism. Now they don't have the arms on them. That's going to be on the other side of the factory. And also like tables and other things. But this is like the bulk storage for the couches and the chairs and stuff. So they'll actually be out here. So we've got like these racks that's going up against the wall right here. and just some storage area, a couple more racks, and this actually leads all the way back over to the beginning, but I don't know. I think this looks really cool. I really like how this area turned out, especially. It just looks so much like an actual factory, which is cool. And so you can see kind of the chimney up there and just a bunch of random like storage stuff laying around here, which is cool. This is how you get around to the side. You can kind of walk through that. And yeah, it's got like maintenance areas that you can go in behind here and work on the different tracks and stuff. And these like wires are just to keep you from walking into the mechanisms, because you don't want like twisted around and cut up or pressed. That would be terrible if you got pressed into a double wide couch. That would be pretty brutal. But yeah, I think it's just kind of a cool aesthetic in here with the wood beams, and where they come together, I put like a spruce trapdoor. That way it makes it kind of covers up the place where it comes together at. Over here, this is just the main entrance. So like when you first come in, and this is like the maintenance area, I figured. And so we've got like a lot of storage up here for tools and stuff. Got the actual different tools over here, like a trash can, a maintenance area for like the tracks, just some random stuff. Another thing for the tracks, a place to get water. This is like repairing one of the cutters that's over there, right there. But yeah, that's what this side is. It's just like the maintenance bay for all of the machinery, and I put like a bunch of beams and stuff up here in the top, which I think that looks really good. This area over here, I haven't started it yet. That's gonna be in the next episode, where the branches and the sticks and stuff like that go, and the smaller logs. So that'll be all this area, and then over on this side as well, I believe that some of it will go. Oh yeah. We got to go underneath of it. I think that this is cool, and this kind of makes sense somewhat from a factory perspective, because you're not going to want to get close to all this stuff. So a good place to be able to go is underground, and like on a conveyor belt system, a lot of times you're going to have areas underneath to access for maintenance anyways. So it just makes sense to have this. Yeah, there's the big industrial, like, I don't know what you would call it, fireplace thing. And so it converts steam, sort of like the other factory, and it makes the steam and it bubbles through these pipes, and that is what controls these. So you can see the pipes coming down to control the log stripper, and then the steam comes down through these to control the pressing units, which is pretty cool. And let's see. Yep, we can go on through here. So this will take you all the way upstairs, and this is something I'm going to work on in the next episode. So you can go out to the top entrance here, and there's going to be a lot of the pipes and stuff coming through here and going to all the mechanisms, and eventually I think offices up there and different things. But I can't do it all in one episode, of course. Got to spread it out a little bit. But I think that this was pretty good progress for today, actually. And I don't know, I just love building factories, I guess. But just this kind of stuff, I don't know, it just gets me so excited to play Minecraft, which, of course, is the goal for all of us. And hopefully these kind of builds kind of inspire you all for things you can build in your world, because I don't think a lot of Minecraft survival worlds have factories. Especially not like this. So I am very happy to be able to work on something like this. And yeah, I'm excited to see how it will turn out. But without further ado, I suppose we should get into the lore. So we've got a pretty funny piece of lore today. All right, here we go. Of course, after the surprise death of Vork, heart attack, Clamp, a new election had to happen immediately. Crud Stevens, a long-serving member of the 5 judges, figured himself as a worthy candidate, and later that year in 5130 he was given the opportunity as king. Crud was a level-headed and honorable man. He sought to do good and create peace, just as most kings would. Also, like most kings, he had one or two shortcomings. For Mr. Crud, it was a debilitating fear of women. At an early age, he asked a girl out on a date through a handwritten note. She had read it and she laughed out loud at the thought of her being with Crud. In an attempt to get a few more laughs, she decided to pin it up on the community message board for all to see. Crud was made fun of for weeks to come, and from that day he vowed to never speak to a woman again. Somehow, despite this, he was still able to gain the favor of the public, and he was elected. However, as Crud grew in age, he became the most handsome man in the land. Now with being elected as the king, every lovely lady in the city now flocked to him for the chance at his hand in marriage. So they might live out their fairy tale life as queen by his side. This of course would pose quite the challenge for Crud Stevens. So there we go. The new king is afraid of women. That'll be interesting to see how that plays out in the lore of this world. So yeah, it's nighttime here, and I really appreciate y'all watching the video and checking in on the world. If you enjoy this series and want to see more of it, I'd appreciate it if you liked and subscribed to see more of it. And yeah, I'll see you all in the next video.